The room is full. We're a full pack. Thank you so much for your trust, for your time, and for your effort. Please welcome each and everyone. Tag the person at your side. Say thank you for coming here. It's a good inspiration. It's going to be very informative. Thank you. My story in Reway, just like each and every one of us, was not very smooth. As you know, when you are involved in an industry where it's a change and a revolution, something that would go against conventional practice, many will oppose you. Many will question your integrity. Many will ask your methods. And many will demonstrate skepticism. Is this true?
Yes.
But if the faith in you is strong, if your source of motivation is what we call intrinsic, sa Tagalog, nanggagaling sa loob, ang pagtiwala at the belief that you could be so much more, and the belief that you could come out successful in every endeavor. Okay? This is what we call intrinsic motivation. It comes from the very core of your being. And if you have something like that, then maybe you will survive your journey towards success. There are many of us in here that requires us to step out of our comfort zone. And this is exactly what happened to me. When I was in college, in the University of Santo Tomas, I was taking molecular biology. My thesis was on DNA. It was very, very early at that time. We were pioneering in the study of genetics. We passed it with flying colors. I don't know how it happened, pero I had uno in my thesis. It was so, not only that, I graduated cum laude. Okay? However, it didn't start out well for me because I was educated in a different country. As early as the 1980s, they had my parents, because my mother was dying from a disease called lupus. My father was so desperate to keep her alive. But if you are a teacher in the Philippines, your salary would not be enough for dialysis alone. And so, the many complications which sometimes require that you stay in a hospital for 3 months at a time. The only way to save my mother's life was to go to a country where they offer universal health coverage. Ang pinakamalapit na bansa is 1 hour 45 minutes from here, and that's Brunei. Everything is free. In return, my father created their first textbook in computer studies. He authored it. We were able to save my mother's life. She was supposed to die at the age of 28. But we saved her life up to 40 and then she passed on. No? Lupus is terminal. It's an autoimmune disease. You can't fight it. No? And so, I was the girl who studied overseas and had to transfer to UST. UST did not want to accept me because from their analysis, I was behind by 3 years in terms of educational intellectuality. Ibig sabihin, kulang ang alam ko, kulang ang education ko para tanggapin nila ako for freshman. But my father used his connections with the Dominicans and I was able to enter UST. I was the girl who failed almost all of her subjects during freshman. But because I learned I learned to evolve. I learned to believe in myself, and I worked. I studied with people who are a lot smarter than me, a lot more gifted, a lot more kinder, and a lot more persevered. I made it through college. You know, ladies and gentlemen, freshman in medicine, there were 64 of us, only 14 graduated. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, it didn't end there. It didn't end there. I thought about my mother a lot when she passed, especially when the doctor diagnosed after I graduated that I have lupus. Alam niyo ba, ang lupus ay namamana ng eldest daughter 90% of the time. Think of Chris Aquino. Think of Cena Gomez. Think of Avril Lavigne. And I know someone in operation who had lupus as well. These are very terminal diseases and it requires money. And so when your autoimmune system is messed up, the doctor will usually give you 10 years to live from the diagnosis. And my laboratories, they're very, very chaotic. If we could go to the next slide. My laboratory from the Ministry of Health in Brunei showed that I was positive for malignant tumor. It's different from goiter. Ang goiter lumalaki. The malignant tumor is very, very cancerous. And I was in a chemo. I was in a pill, a white pill, that I had to drink for many, many years. You know, when I met my partner in life that was 12 years ago, he used to throw away my sleeping pills, and I was addicted to it. You know, I had one entire bag of sleeping pills together with my chemo. And he told me that if you want to have a relationship with me, you will not drink that. So he threw it out the window. And that was the last time I saw a sleeping pill. But after that, he asked me to try Purtier. Purtier was introduced to him by Pegasus Alan Kang back in Brunei in 2015. At that time, he was the one suffering from prostate. Prostate, as you know, it's a wear and tear for men. You know, if you notice that you often go to the toilet, or you lose libido, erection does not really happen for more than 5 minutes. It's very painful to urinate. There's like a burning sensation. Don't be afraid to see a urologist. Kasi 8 out of 10 male will suffer from inflammation or complication of the prostate. And so my husband was no different. But when he started, 50 ang PSA niya, ang normal ay 0. Anything more could mean that it's cancer. Pero yung ganun kalaki, bumagsak ng 1.57 in 6 months, ladies and gentlemen. So when it went okay with him, he decided to let me try Purtier. Although you can ask Eric, it was very difficult to convince me to try. Because being in the medical field, you question a lot. Tama? You question the thousands and thousands of pesos dedicated in the industry of stem cell. You question how it works. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is how stem cell work. When your body is damaged, when you have organs that are malfunctioning, and it will happen. It's not a question of if mangyayari, it's a question of when, kailan, no? And you better be prepared when that happens. Now, when something is wrong, your bone marrow is triggered to produce stem cell. Now, the stem cell from your bone marrow can track, kaya niyang hanapin ang specific site of damage. Then the stem cell can multiply into millions of cells. And number 3, the stem cell can transform into any type of tissue the organ needs to repair itself. So that is the job of the stem cell that is produced by your bone marrow. The problem is that there are very few donors. Konti ang willing mag-share ng bone marrow transplant. Are you following me? Yes. Because they will drill a hole and it will cost millions. Last I heard in Manila doctors and St. Luke's, it was 1.2 million up to 2.75 million. No? So, the world, as it is very technologically advanced. We find ways, parang video lang, no? We find ways. There are now advancement in technology that could mimic how the stem cell works, but cheaper. Instead of bone marrow, they will find it from placenta. That is why we have Purtier placenta. The stem cells are extracted from the placenta itself. Okay? So, it became a lot cheaper. I mean, you compare that with the regular clinical injection of 45,000. No? You compare one capsule of Purtier at 350 pesos, panalo ka na. Why? Almost the same properties. Buhay, bioactive, and it can repair and regenerate as well. The only difference, hindi mo kailangan ma-hospital, hindi mo kailangan gumastos ng milyon, and most of all, is very convenient, effective, and affordable. Tama? So, I didn't know this, but it took me quite a while to appreciate it, no? When my hyperthyroid, when my malignant tumor started disappearing, kasi I went to my endocrinologist, and when they did my TSH, my T3, my T4, all my hormones, everything was normal. It was as if I never had a tumor in my thyroid, ladies and gentlemen. And that was only after 6 months of taking Purtier. Okay? Now, the problem was the complications that lupus can bring. You will notice a lot of internal bleeding. You will bleed from your nose, from your ears, even your poo and your wee-wee may have blood. No? So you were constantly bleeding, and it could really get to you. Next slide, please. And so it became complicated more. Kasi hindi naman parang magic ang Purtier. I'll be honest with you, ha? You don't think of Purtier as something that is so miraculous that it's going to cure everything. It doesn't work that way. Okay? Purtier is a supplement that could help your body to some extent to repair what is damaged. So the recovery is progressive. So you may choose to take Purtier for 6 months, but you may choose to take it a little bit longer for the effect to be more long-term. Are you following me? Yes. What you see on the screen is an actual mammogram of my left breast. So my left breast has a tumor, active tumor. And the biggest by far is the one on top, longitudinal. It's 7 by 7, followed by the center, which is an 8 by 8, and then a little more dispersed. Now, my doctor in St. Luke said, there's no point in putting you into chemotherapy. Radiation will not even help you at this point. Masyado siyang kalat. And the doctor said we should do a mastectomy, complete removal of the left breast, the lymph node, and the shoulder blade. Now, natakot ako doon. But I was very thankful dahil naging honest naman ang aking onco. Kasi you know by statistics and by research, chemo has a 97% chance of relapse. So even if mag-chemo ka, you'll be cancer-free until such time na bumalik siya with a vengeance. And the second time around is more aggressive. So it can prolong your life until such time that it comes back. So I decided not to have either three, chemo, radioactive, mastectomy, none of that. I wanted to live the best of my life, you know. My mother, I love her so much, you know. Until such time that she died, she lived her life to the fullest, you know. We went to many places. I wanted something like that, quality of life towards death. You're expecting it, pero you're not depressed. You're still happy. So I wanted that kind of life. But my husband, Eric, he said, we should double your dosage in Purtier and we should continue it. You're finished with your 6 months, your thyroid is okay. Let's now take you to another 6 months. So let's take Purtier for 1 year. 1 year, ladies and gentlemen. 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. And exactly July 17, 2017 in UERN, when they did a contrast of the mammogram, they could not find a single tumor in my left breast. And when they did a contrast, you can see with the circle, the conclusion was early breast cancer, and that was in 2015. Next slide, please. 2017, assessment category 1, negative cancer on both breasts. So, ladies and gentlemen, this kind of second life, you cannot be selfish in life. You know, I always believe that we are all interdependent. We're connected in one way or another. And whatever blessings we receive, we should share it to many people. Kasi how many do you know are suffering from diseases? From the statistics earlier by the World Health Organization in 2018, 54% of the total global population dies from terminal diseases. 1:1 yan, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you think you could be an inspiration to them? Don't you think that your laboratories could give hope? Don't you think that you will make a lot of people, a lot of family, a lot of children happy because they could keep their parents a little longer? So that's what I did. My husband took 1 year to persuade me to live my career in Brunei. I worked in a law firm for a decade, and it's very well paid. It's very well paid, but at the end of the day, you realize that money is nothing compared to your purpose in life. And so I resigned and went full-time, ladies and gentlemen, in Purtier. Ang dinanas ko hindi biro. I grew up in Brunei since 1980s. You know what that means? I do not know anybody in the Philippines, not even my cousins. I have never met my cousins. So it was difficult for me to market Purtier in a country where I come from but do not know anybody. I felt alienated. Ang Tagalog ko, Diyos ko dahil maaawa ka. So, but then I found myself where my father was born in Mindanao. I found myself marketing Purtier in Mamansabayo, Kidapawan, Marawi, South Cotabato, Pagadian, Butuan, you know. And it was in the middle of It was so financially very satisfying, but more than that, you've actually changed the very platform of the medical revolution in the Philippines. More people believe in stem cell right now. Next. So, next slide. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, our body would undergo constant stress. You know, there will always be internal trauma. There will always be wear and tear. Ang katawan natin, walang kinaibahan yan sa mechanical wear and tear ng engine ng sasakyan. Once in a while, you need change oil. Once in a while, you need an overhaul. So you have to take care of your body. Kasi your body will undergo a stage of decline, deterioration of organ, and decay. Decay is when the prescription medicine no longer works. Kahit anong inom mo ng Norvasc, amlodipine, Lipitor, and all those prescriptions, hindi na siya mag-i-effect because your body is rejecting it. That is the stage of decay and it's inevitable. Dadating at dadating tayo dyan. Unless you take care of your body a little bit more seriously and you put priority on it. Next slide. So, ladies and gentlemen, the same happened to me. From all the stress that I put in my body, I was confined. And I thought it was a normal confinement in 2018. That's my cancer doctor, Dr. Efren Capistrano in St. Luke's. So I was nervous, I thought there was some form of metastasis, nagkalat or nag-spread. Next slide. And when they did a sonology, it's like an ultrasound. They look for what's wrong. They found out that I had a very big gallstone. Very big. Yeah, very, very big. And what's worse was that the gallstone was right in the middle of the bile duct. You know what that means? It can rupture the liver duct and the bile duct, and it could poison your entire body. It could spread toxic. Within 48 hours, you can die. And mine was about to burst. Yeah. And so, that was quite some time ago. And then, it took quite a while before I decided what to do about it. I was always in constant pain. Kasi it's really, you cannot imagine the pain. Parang may buto na nababalik. And, next slide. I did some medical tests. They found out that my blood, my prothrombin count, is very, very high. Ibig sabihin yan, my body was regenerating the blood cells very, very quickly. And mind you, I was taking Purtier all the time. 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. I never stopped it. Kasi when you're a distributor, there are many ways to get your Purtier for free. There are many ways for the company to give you incentives in free consumption for your daily needs. No? So you can take Purtier for free once you're a distributor. So I was able to continue my dosage of 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. So the doctor was very surprised na ang bilis mag-regenerate ng cell ko. And next slide. When I was hospitalized, they were very shocked kasi the very big gallbladder was actually broken down into very small gallbladder stone. Very, very small. And it was not lethal. It did not burst. It did not do me any harm. And you know what helped me? Purtier. Purtier was able to make the gallstone a lot smaller. No? So, next slide. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe from all the documented, evidence-based testimonials that I have shown you, you should not doubt you've seen kanina, you saw that we are in constant pursuit of the golden proportion, that line na nakita nyo sa video. Do you know what that means? It means that Leeway, as a research and development company who owns the patent and formulation to Purtier, they will not stop in the pursuit of perfection in the composition in Purtier, so that it will help your body recover a lot more faster. And if may sakit ka, you might just survive it without going through the hectic trauma of doing surgical and chemo and radiation. Now, just to go back to that, the golden proportion is also known as 1.618. And this proportion is seen in everything: astronomy, physiology, mathematical, everything. And Leeway is in pursuit of, again, that perfect combination of formula that will help your body fight deficiency, protect it, and at the same time, regenerate it. So thank you, ladies.